Coming up on today's video, my next reserve list buyout card from Magic the Gathering. Which card will I pick? Let's find out together. Hi everyone, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. On today's video, I'll be choosing a new reserve list card to start buying into. Now, before we get started in today's video, I want to remind everyone, this is purely for entertainment purposes only. I do not suggest or say you should go out and buy any of these cards, as I'm not a financial expert. I did not graduate Magic University. I do not have a diploma in financial background. This channel is only for entertainment purposes. I'm not telling you guys to go out and buy any of the cards that I might be buying. I didn't graduate Clarendon College either. Sorry guys, the professor never graduated me. What can I say? So, let's get started by looking at all the cards that I thought about buying, go over the pros and cons of those cards, and then I'll show you which card I chose to start buying out until it reaches a certain price level. So let's get started. Now, the first card is the Buyout Trading Post, an alliance card that's pretty amazing. Now, it says here when it comes into play, I sacrifice an untapped mountain or bury the trading post. Okay. Now, it does add 2 mana to your mana pool, which is awesome. 1 red and 1 colorless. It also can tap 1 and itself to do 1 damage to a target attacking creature. Now, lands like this are pretty awesome from alliances. I want you guys to remember, you could actually have 4 of these in your deck. Nowhere does this say legendary, so you can go to town, depending on which type of deck you're deciding to build. Most often, these are found, though, inside commander decks nowadays. It has limited uses that can be fun, but let's take a look at the price. Now, as a card from Alliances, we know it has 180 million card print run. There were 45 rares in this set. There was 15 million booster packs made because they're based on 12 cards per booster pack. The booster boxes were sold in packs of 45 packs per box. That means there's roughly 333,000 booster boxes made, and there was roughly 300,000 copies of any given card that's a rare from this set, which means of this trading post, there was roughly 300,000 copies made, give or take a few. The current price falls between $5 and $15 American per copy. So this is a pretty affordable entry-level reserve list card for somebody who wants to dive into some ancient old cards and get going with it. Okay, let's take a look at some other cards I've been looking at though. Now, Thawing Glaciers, another epic card going all the way back to Alliances. This one though is a little different than the other cards. It comes into play tapped. You pay 1 and then search your library for a basic land card and put it into play tapped. But you notice it doesn't count towards your 1 land per turn limit. Shuffle your library afterwards. At the end of the turn, return Thawing Glaciers to its owner's hand. Okay, so this card does have some uses. It does get to keep going out and thinning your deck of land. This card is amazing in Commander, but just like a lot of the cards on the list, this card is already at a higher level. All the other stats will stay the same because it is an Alliances card, but the price range here is a lot higher, starting at $35 and going high as $60 Canadian per copy. There's actually a promo foil version of this card that is even higher than this. It's something to take note of. That means this card was technically, even though it's a promo, was kind of reprinted. So keep a close eye on this because it is something to watch. Kaldorian Outpost is our next card. Now, when the outpost comes into play, you sacrifice a plains or bury the outpost. It does tap to add 1 white mana to your mana pool, and unlike the trading post, this does not have to be an untapped land, which means you can tap that plains right away, sacrifice it, and then put the outpost into play. It does add 1 white mana to your mana pool, but its cool effect is you can tap 1 white and 1 colorless to put a soldier token into play that's treated as a 1/1 white creature. A very cool effect for any commander deck that plays white. Now, the Outpost, again, from Alliances, you can see here all the stats stay the same. The price range, though, being at $21 to $35 Canadian, depending on condition. This card saw a lot of play when I was young, guys. I remember seeing this card everywhere in people's decks, especially what we called white weenie decks with Crusades and stuff to pump them up. It had a lot of play. Even in 5-color decks, it was easy to put in there and just sacrifice the Savannah to get this thing out. So the Outpost has been played for a long time. Finding really near mint quality copies of this card are hard to do. So it's something to take effect and something to look for, that if you go for a card on this, maybe I'd have to look for mainly near mint ones to really make it worthwhile. Now our next card is City of Shadows. This card's from the dark, where all the wizards went hiding when things went bad. A card like this could be very valuable in the future. It has an amazing ability of sacrificing one of your creatures but removing it from the game, instead of placing it in your graveyard. Put a counter on City of Shadows. Then it has the other effect of tapping to add X colorless mana to your mana pool, where X is the number of counters on City of Shadows. Now, a lot of people will tell me you can just blow this land up, but that can be said for any land in any format you're playing in. You have to have ways of getting your lands back. You have to be prepared to save that land if you can find a way. City of Shadows is an amazingly underrated card that's from the dark. Now, when we take a look at the dark stats, these are where things get really interesting. Now, the dark had a print run of 70 million, roughly depending on whose stats you're taking from which web pages. They were 8-card booster packs. Okay, so you take the 70 million, divide by 8, and we get 8,750,000 booster packs that were made. But there were 60 packs per box. So when we take the 8.75 million packs and divide it into 60, we get 145,900 booster boxes that were produced roughly in English. Now, the current price for this card, though, is higher than all the other ones. It starts at around $95 Canadian and goes as high as 200 Canadian when I saw they had an 8.5 slabbed copy. But I saw quite a few copies around the $90 mark. The funny thing is, the cards I've shown you guys so far, none were found locally here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I couldn't find any for sale locally. Something to take note of when you're trying to buy cards on the reserve list. You got to know what the supply is around you. Now, the last card I'm going to show everyone is going to be Rainbow Veil. Now, this is Fallen Empires. I've always enjoyed the card, although we didn't play with it much back in the day. You can add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Control of the Rainbow Veil passes to the opponent at the end of turn. What we used to do was blow it up with the Zern Orb. You tap it for the color you want, you'd eat it with your Zern Orb back in the day, and you'd had other ways of time twisting or getting that card back into play afterwards. So a very valuable card, and it's one of the few cards in Fallen Empires that has continued to slowly rise in value. Now, being a Fallen Empires card though, again, different print run. The print run's around 375 million cards. They were 8-card booster packs. That means there was 46,875,000 booster packs made. But there were 60 packs per booster box, which means there were 781,250 booster boxes made. That's a lot of booster boxes. Fallen Empires took a long time to get gobbled up over the years until it finally started to appreciate in value and be worth something. The current price stands between $10 to $15 Canadian. Pretty epic, right? So we've taken a look at these. Hold on. So you've seen all the cards I'm talking about. If you've noticed, they're all land cards. I tend toward artifacts because they can go into any deck. And I tend toward land cards because they're used in every type of deck. Those are the cards I personally tend to go after. So, of course, I'm going to continue on that trend, right? Now, let's go over this. All these cards have pros and cons. We discussed that. But I'm going to show you now the card I chose, and then I'll explain why I chose it. So, let's go here. There's no drum roll or anything. I'm just going to show you with some fireworks in the background. Boomstick! That's right. We are going with City of Shadows. That's right. This amazing card from the dark is the one that beats them all. That's right. This card, come on. We know the print run of the dark. We know it was a heavily played card. We know these cards in this set were not loved by a lot of people, which means the future potential for this set to go up is higher than normal for other sets. It has a lower print run. It's got like half of what some of the other sets had. 1/3 in some cases. As these cards become rare and harder to find, cards like City of Shadows will have a higher draw and value to people building collections or trying to enjoy the card in a commander style deck. I personally have always enjoyed the card, the cool, creepy wizard feel of them hiding out in the city while they're being hunted down by clerics and priests. I've always enjoyed the idea and the lore behind sets like this. You know Wizards ain't doing another set like it, so it's the way it's going to be. So that's the reason. Now, let's go over how I'm going about this. My money is tied up in, of course, providing for my family. You guys know that. But I do get paid from YouTube for the amount of views I get on my channel. So depending on the amount of views I get, that depends on what I can buy. I figure I can buy about one a month. So I'm going to try to buy one a month every month until it reaches the value of 250 Canadian is the average value I can find, give or take. Even beat up copies I'll probably keep buying just to see what happens. Now, that'd be around $200 US or 110 euro. So I don't sure how this will all quite work out. Remember, I don't recommend anybody buying cards at this level. They're pretty expensive. If you're doing it, take all the risks on you and understand what you're getting into, okay? Because that's a lot of money to start spending. I'm doing it for you so you can enjoy the entertainment provided by watching what happens when this card takes effect. I'll be looking forward to seeing what the comment section says about this card. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like, recommend to somebody. Let's see what other people think out there. City of Shadows will be the card. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Have a great day. Hey guys, a big shout out to all my patrons out there. Thanks again for the continued support. Patrons make the world go round. And remember, next Sunday is the live stream giveaway for people on my channel to win those prizes. Let's have a blast giving away a box, everyone, all right? Looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. Thanks again to my patrons. It's just one of those days. I hope everyone out there just realizes sometimes it's one of those days. Not much you can do about it, but try to get through it.